This is WBRC Fox 6 Law Call.
Hello, welcome to Law Call. We've got the answers to your legal questions. Here's what we've got coming up. Tonight we're going to be taking your phone calls about taxes and the law. So did you receive unemployment compensation last year? Did the Alabama Department of Labor send you a letter telling you to pay it back? And what happens if you can't? Call us tonight with your questions. Our phone line is open. It's 855-LAW-1955. And we're going to also explain what you should do if you or a loved one is injured by a dangerous or defective product. But first, we've got personal injury attorney Kirby Ferris. He's here to take a look at one of your email questions. And Kirby, tonight's question comes from Reeve. And Reeve writes in saying that I'm renting a house with a rusty old swing set and a slide in the backyard. The backyard is not fenced in, and I've already caught a few neighborhood kids playing on the slide. If one of those kids falls and is injured, will I be legally responsible? So that's from Reeve tonight.
Reeve, that's a great question. That could be a problem. Let me tell you a little bit about that. In Alabama, we have a law called attractive nuisance. If you have something on your property that's attracting kids, young people in that can be dangerous, and you know that, if one of those children's injured, whether you know they're on the property or not, even if they're trespassing, you can be held responsible for that. So that could be a problem. What I suggest you do, Reeve, is this. Contact your landlord and tell them that you need this swing set removed from your property, that it's dangerous and could be a problem for y'all legally if somebody gets hurt. If they don't want to do that, then I would suggest you remove the slide from the swing set, take the swings off so there's nothing there for the kids to play with, and put those in storage, because that could be a problem for you in the event that somebody's hurt.
All right, thank you for your email question. We appreciate it. You can go to deliveringjustice.com or WBRC.com and click on the law call link there for more information. Well, we're about to start the show now, where we start taking your phone calls and questions. So tonight's topic is taxes and the law. And you want to think, well, April's far out, right? Yeah, but it's getting closer by the day, right? So we're trying to help you guys at home and answer any legal questions we can if you've got a situation, because this year has been unlike any we've seen, and so a lot of folks, their finances are a little strange this year, and they're wondering how to move forward with getting their taxes ready.
And you need to manage your taxes as best you can this year, especially.
Yeah.
We got somebody here to help us do that.
I'm glad it's him and not me.
Absolutely.
He's providing the tax information tonight.
Happy to help. Brett has been a friend of mine for many, many years. He's been on the show a number of times. Let me tell you just a little. This is going to take just a second. Let me tell you a little bit about Brett. First of all, he's an accountant and a lawyer, and he has a master's in tax law from the University of Alabama. He's worked with a number of big accounting firms over the years. He was also the assistant finance manager for Senator Jeff Sessions in Montgomery. In 2016, he started his own company, a company called Strategic Tax and Accounting LLCs, where he does tax preparation, business accounting, estate planning, and business law. So if you have a question tonight, Brett can answer it for you.
Glad to have you back on.
I appreciate you having me. Hope I can help.
Yeah. Well, we already have callers that are eager to ask a question, so we're going to start tonight's show with Rebecca, who is in Walker County. Hey, Rebecca.
Hey, I am so glad y'all are tackling this topic tonight, because the timing is perfect for me. My situation, my daughter got a job in the UK in 2018. She worked in the United States for 3 or 4 months in 2018, and then through the same company transferred over to London and worked there for the remaining of 2018, and she's still working there. Well, a CPA I've been using a long time, worked on her income taxes and filed it for her that year. We kept extending until the October date, the latest they could in 2018. Well, last year she said that she could do it again, and she did my taxes, and then, of course, we had to drop everything off, COVID, that sort of thing. But anyway, I realized I got my taxes filed, but I realized just last week that we never did get a bill on hers, and I figured she e-filed like she did for mine. But so I went by there and asked, and through her assistant, going back there and asking her about it, said because she did not, even though she's a United States citizen, she worked all of 2019 paid by the company over there, not United States. So she didn't have to file a tax return. And
Okay,
of course,
Rebecca, let's put you on pause because it sounds like she's got quite a situation going on.
She
with her
does,
daughter.
she does still need to file. If you're a U.S. citizen, you have to pay taxes on your worldwide income, and you have to file every year. However, if you've been out of the country for more than 300 days, you can get a discounted and not pay tax on a certain amount of your income. So she does need to file. So if somebody told you she didn't need to file because she was gone all year, that's incorrect. You can still file now, hopefully because of the reduction of income earned abroad, so you won't owe taxes. Penalties and interest are always calculated on what you owe. So if it turns out you don't owe when you do the tax return, then you won't have massive penalties and interest. So you should probably call my office this week, and I'd be happy to talk with you about it. I wasn't expecting an international tax question, but luckily I've had some experience in it, so I'd be happy to talk with you about it.
We knew you were just the man for the job.
That's
tonight.
it.
We knew it, right? We've got John over in Corner, I believe, tonight. Hey, John, welcome into Law Call.
Yes, I'm over 65, separated, disability, and about $1,000 in property taxes and about $1,000 in medical. Am I required to file, or would it be to my advantage to file, or do I have to file?
Well, you're generally not going to be required to file if disability, government paid disability, or Social Security is your only income. You're not required to file, even if you have deductions, don't have deductions, if that's your only income. You have to be careful, though, because if you have retirement income from another source, a 1099-R, for instance, for government retirement or a big company retirement, or you pull money out of a 401k or IRA, that's going to trigger some of your Social Security to be taxable. So I can't say blanket, you never have to file, it depends on what's going on. But if that's truly all your income in any year is Social Security, you don't need to file a tax return.
All right, thank you for that call and question. Let's see, do we need to go to a break? All right, the producers are saying we've already gotten so much information in this short block, but we're going to come back and we've got Rita on the line calling us from Bessemer, so we're going to talk to her right when we come back from the break. So stay with us.
When you or a loved one is injured in an accident and need help, there are many attorneys to choose from.
We recommend contacting your local family attorney for advice on who to choose. It doesn't cost you anymore, and you know you can trust your local family lawyer.
Whether they helped you with a criminal matter, a bankruptcy, divorce, or disability, give them a call first. We are Ferris, Riley, and Pitt, and we are trying to help you get the best result for your case.
WBRC Fox 6 Law Call from the Birmingham law firm of Ferris, Riley, and Pitt. Personal injury attorney Kirby Ferris, a proven advocate, known for his aggressive courtroom skills. Personal injury attorney Ken Riley, practical, professional, recognized by Birmingham Magazine as one of Birmingham's top attorneys. Plus, guest attorneys from across Alabama. Your rights, your calls, live.
Well, there are plenty of dangerous products out there, but even if you're injured by one, proving a liability claim can be tough. Personal injury attorney Ken Riley explains in tonight's legal brief.
If you use any product like an ordinary consumer would and are injured, then you may have a case. Generally, you don't have to prove any wrongdoing by the manufacturer, just that the product is unsafe. But these cases can be very complex. Specifically, you must prove that the product was dangerous or defective and would be perceived so by a reasonable person. This can come from the design, the manufacturing, or even the marketing of the product. Secondly, you have to show that the product injured you, and most importantly, that your injury was caused by the defect. The product may be unsafe and you may be injured, but proving that the product caused the injury is the tricky part. An experienced attorney can advise you about the strength of your case and how to proceed. That's your legal brief for tonight. I'm personal injury attorney Ken Riley with Ferris, Riley, and Pitt in Birmingham. Back to you.
Well, we're discussing taxes and your finances tonight, so if you've got a question, we'd love to hear from you. So I know that you wanted to talk a little bit about
Yes.
the stimulus.
Yeah, Brett, I've been reading some about the stimulus checks, and I understand that there's some more stimulus money. Looks like it's going to be coming down the pipe. Talk to us a little bit about the stimulus checks. I've actually heard some people didn't get a stimulus check.
There's a large number of people who call and want to know where their stimulus check is. Say they didn't get it, say they applied in 2018, they filed their tax return in 2018 or 2019, thought they're eligible. There's a number of reasons why you might not have been. You may have been claimed as dependent by somebody else, maybe wrongfully. You might have made too much money. If you were single and made over $75,000, it started being prorated. Married, filing jointly, $150,000, so you wouldn't have gotten it. But interesting now is if you file your 2020 tax return, those show up as refundable credits at the bottom. So if you did not get it, a lot of people, you call the IRS, people call my office, there's not a lot I can do. Call the IRS for you. But now you're going to put that down, what you received and didn't receive in the first round in 2020, and what you received or didn't receive in the first round in 2021, and you can get that as a refundable tax credit this year. So you can still get that money without having to deal directly with the IRS in this tax return. And if you made too much money in 18-19, it turns out your income went down in 20, which it did for a lot of folks, and that makes you eligible where your income was too high before, you now will get that stimulus money. So it's very important that you file your 2020 tax return on time and correctly to claim all that past money if your income went down or you feel like you did not receive that money wrongfully previously.
So, Brett, it's going to be very important if you didn't get a check to let your accountant know that you didn't get a stimulus
Absolutely.
check.
On our questionnaire for this tax season, we had to put on there, did you receive it and how much did you receive? And then it's a worksheet that you work out what you should have received, and you're going to put that as a refundable credit on your tax return this year.
Great information.
All right, well, let's see if we can hear from Rita in Bessemer tonight. Hey, Rita, welcome to Law Call.
Yes.
Go ahead, what's your
Hello?
question? Hey.
Yes.
Hey, Rita,
Thank
we
you,
can
Deb.
hear you.
This is Darlene.
Okay. Darlene, go ahead.
Yes. I wanted to ask a question about my ex-husband pays me child support, but they send me a 1099 on it every year. Do I have to pay taxes on that?
So you don't have to pay taxes on child support, and it's not deductible by the person who pays it either. So not child support. Now alimony is different. It used to be, before the Trump law came into effect 4 years ago, that if you paid alimony, you got a deduction, and people who got alimony had to pay taxes. After that, any divorce after that law came into effect, though, it's no longer any tax effect on either party. But same for child support, regardless of before or after Trump. There is no tax effect. The people who pay it don't get to deduct it, and the people who get it do not have to pay taxes on it.
All right, thank you. Let's see, I believe it's Rochelle next in Inslee. Hey, Rochelle, are you there?
Yes.
Hi, good evening.
Michelle?
Hello. My question is, I haven't filed taxes in 30 years. I only make like no more than 14 to 15,000 a year, and lost my job in March 15 of 2020. And so I wanted to know, can I file now? And I never received any of the stimulus that was ever given out.
Now that is what I was saying, is it is very important. If you didn't file a 2018 or 2019 tax return and you were not a Social Security recipient, you didn't get any of that stimulus check money. But you're entitled to it. But if you don't file a return, you don't get it. So you need to file this 2020 return, and you will get that money from 2019 and this latest, from 2020 and this latest one they just issued at the beginning of the month. Also, it's important that people who don't file tax returns realize that doesn't mean the IRS is necessarily after you. In a lot of cases, they're not. If you're making a W-2 salary of $12,000, $15,000, $20,000, likely you don't owe any taxes. They owe you money for every one of those years for over withholding that you would get a refund. Now, you can't go back more than 3 years and file those, but it's worth looking at. So you should find an accountant, show them your W-2, and see if you get a refund. If not, there's no sense in filing it. Can't hurt to check, though, because they might owe you $500 a year for the last 3 years, plus get this stimulus check in 2020. So I suggest you go talk to somebody about getting your taxes done for 2020. While you're there, give them your W-2s from 17, 18, and 19 and see if you don't get some more money back, too.
All right, good to know. So what else? We talked about the stimulus. What else did you want to
Well,
throw
I
out
had
there?
questions about the PPP money
Okay.
as well, Brett, and I know we're about to hit another round of that. So talk to our folks a little bit about the PPP money and what's coming
Well, so I've gotten on my soapbox with many people about the PPP. It's called Payroll Protection Program, which is very misleading. A lot of small business people, sole proprietors, they say, I don't have payroll, I don't qualify, and so they never went and looked into it. But you do qualify. You don't have to have a different business return, you don't have to have payroll. If you do a cash business, washing cars, mowing lawns, whatever it is, and you file a tax return with a Schedule C on it, which is a page for small business, and down at the bottom it showed a profit. It can be $10,000, $20,000, doesn't have to be big money, and there's no payroll required. You simply take that net income from the bottom of your Schedule C, you divide it by 12 and multiply by 2.5, and that's going to be your recovery. So if it's $12,000 divided by 12 is $1,000 a month times 2.5, you're going to get a check for $2,500. And that was the PPP1. The PPP second round requires a showing of a decrease of revenue of 25% a quarter or for the year. That sounds intimidating and confusing. Those folks need to go talk to their accountant or talk to an accountant or whether they qualify. I'm talking specifically to people who never applied for the PPP first round. It's reopened for you to apply now. You don't have to show a decrease in revenue. You don't have to show revenue. All you have to show is did you profit at the bottom line of your Schedule C. It also applies to S-Corp returns. In the beginning of this, back in March and April, there was a lot of misinformation around about this payroll protection program. You don't need payroll. You can qualify even if you're an S-Corp. You can qualify if you're a sole proprietor. So I encourage you to go talk to an accountant or the bank. This is money, and you can apply for the PPP too while you're there if your income went down. Literally for somebody with just $10,000 a year of profit, this is between $2,500 and $5,000 that they could re-inject back into their, it's not just their business, it goes right to your personal account if you're a sole proprietor. So that's a meaningful government program that a lot of people overlooked because of the terminology of it. They didn't think it applied to them. So please call your banker or your accountant and ask about the payroll protection program. If you own your own business, get a 1099 or so forth.
Okay, we're up against another break. When we come back, we're going to continue the conversation. Well, as you're watching tonight, we would love to encourage you to reach out to Brett Sheedy. He's here in Birmingham. His office number is 205-502-2800 or bsheedy@strategictaxllc.com. You can shoot him an email, and obviously he's a wealth of knowledge and can help you figure out your financial matters there. So reach out, use him as a resource. Call his office tomorrow. And Kirby Ferris, he is here tonight representing his law firm of Ferris, Riley & Pitt. Their office number is 205-324-1212 or deliveringjustice.com is where you can find Kirby and Ken and the gang. We're going to hold off for just a second on, we've got a lot of folks still asking or wanting to ask questions about the taxes and the conversation there, but I want to just take a minute and tell folks at home a little bit about your practice, and I want you to share with them the kind of cases you handle.
I'd be happy to. We handle all personal injury cases. So if you've been injured in any way that wasn't your fault or somebody else's hands, whether that's a trucking accident, a motor vehicle accident, maybe you've fallen in a store somewhere, medical malpractice, we handle all of those types of cases. We handle here in Alabama, all through the South, and if you've had that sort of incident in your life, we will be glad to talk to you, be glad to help you any way that we can.
All right, thank you for sharing that. We're going to now go back to the phone lines. We've got Floretta on the line. Floretta, are you there? Let's see if she's there next.
Yes, I am.
Hi, good evening to you.
I have a question. Last year, my daughter claimed me as a dependent, and I'm a senior. But I want to know if she doesn't claim me as a dependent this year, would I be eligible for any of the
stimulus money? Yes. So you would have to go back and you would have to file a tax return for the last year and say you were not a dependent. So if you're a dependent in 2019, you're still going to be ineligible. So where income goes down, or if you prove yourself to not be a dependent. Now, which is better is really a lot of moving targets question. So each year when I have people who have parents or children that they have an option of claiming as a dependent, we do the returns both ways for both that possible dependent and for the parent or child who's going to claim them, and decide what would be the most beneficial for the family unit. So whether you can do it or not is a question. You could go back and she could amend her return, you could file a return for 19. Whether that would be economically beneficial for your family unit or not, I can't say without seeing the returns and running those scenarios through my own software. So it's a good question. For $600, I'm not sure. It depends on her income, if she got earned income credit for you being on the return and so forth. So you're going to need somebody to take your return and her return in and do the math on it to answer that question.
All right. Thank you for calling us. We appreciate that. Louise is next in Birmingham tonight. Hey, Louise.
Yes.
Hi there.
How are you?
We're good. We're glad you're calling us.
Okay, you ready?
We are. Go ahead.
All right. On last year, I had heard that seniors didn't have to file over 70. At that time, I was 70, my husband was 75, so I called the IRS to ask them about this. And the girl asked me a bunch of questions, I guess, to find out if I qualified. We have a 6-year-old granddaughter that we adopted. And the girl told us that we didn't have to file, but we may want to because of the dependent. We may get a refund. So I told her, yeah, in the past 2 years we had filed her, but we never received any more than a little over $400. And I said, I have to pay $200 to get it filled, so it really wasn't worth it to me. So,
well, the difference this year is that you have this extra stimulus check. So in prior years, 18 and 19, getting your return done, if you are fully on Social Security, then it may not be very beneficial. Like you're saying, it may cost you more to get it done than to get the refund. But it also depends on your income. If you had earned income, a little bit of earned income, you'll get earned income credit. So again, there's some moving targets here, but this year it is more cut and dry. If you're on Social Security to get this stimulus money, all you had to do was be on Social Security. You're going to send it to the same mailing address or put it in the same account they have. But they would know that you had a dependent that you would get an automatic $600 for on this one and $500 in the first stimulus. So you would want to, but again, you can solve all this by filing your 2020 tax return. When you file that 2020 tax return and put her as a dependent, they will go back and give you credit for the one received in 2020 and the one now. So you don't have to go back and file those if you didn't because you feel like it's too expensive, but you should file the 2020 just for that dependent. It's going to get you $1,100 extra.
Okay. Well, we're waiting for another phone call to be patched through. So if you will, just tell us anything else that's going to be changed or anything else that folks should expect or anything different this year.
Well, you know, it's going to be a very similar year to last year because we got a new administration coming in, but they can't put their new law in until next year. I will say, I think there's going to be some big changes between now and next tax season, so everybody hang on. But there's really not much to say. The last 3 years are going to be similar to this year. There's no big tax law changes. I guess the last thing I might bring up, if you're a small business owner, there's the Economic Injury Disaster Loan called the EIDL. You may want to look into that if you're really suffering through and having a hard time keeping your business going, your doors open. You have to pay that one back, but it's only 3.75% over 30 years. You're not going to find cheaper money. So you may want to go back and think about getting EIDL if you just need to keep those doors open for a few more weeks or a few more months.
All right. Brett, thank you for coming in. We always appreciate you coming in and sharing your expertise. And Kirby,
thanks for having me.
Good to see you. Have a great night, everyone.